Hey, Keely. It's been a while since we had you on Shooting the Breeze. I think it's getting close on 2 years now. Um, I just wanted to find out from you, how do you feel being part of effectively a new team in a new town, um, particularly as you're coming in as one of the more seasoned players in the roster? How's that feel for you?
Yeah, I think it's just really exciting. Like, what an opportunity to be a part of the first ever team and to kind of set the standard and really build a foundation with this community and this club. And it's really exciting and super special. Like, never happens. So it's been really good so far, and the group's been really good. And as you said, I am a more senior player in the group, but I think everyone has experience from all over the world and their college and everything. Everyone's kind of brought that in, and we're all on the same page, which is really good.
Great. And what do you think is the greatest challenge you see for yourself this season and also for the team?
Yeah, I think, challenges will come up throughout the season like they always do. But I think for us, it is that experience piece. And, we know there's going to be games where it's going to be tough and that sort of thing. And it's just those little decision making and that sort of thing under pressure with decisions when we don't have that experience. But, we say that. And then the way we've been training has been really great. And we've had some really good practice matches and that sort of thing. So I think everyone's on the same page and we all work really hard, which is all you can ask for. And as the challenges come up, we'll deal with those and move on. But I think this group is a really cohesive unit that is going to deal with those well.
And finally, how do you think the other teams are going to be able to handle you guys, particularly in the early part of the season, where they don't really get enough opportunity to scout? How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, I think that's an advantage for us. Nobody knows us. Obviously, they know how certain people play, what Chris's style is, but this group's a really fun group and different to what we've had before. So, it'll be a surprise for them and hopefully hard to scout.
Great. Thanks, Keely.
Meg, we'll move over to you. Let's see if we've got you this time. We still can't quite hear you, but if you want to put any questions in the chat, we can go that way as well. But so we'll just wait on you there if you want to type up your question real quick and go from there. How are you feeling about playing Sister Alicia first off the bat against the Fire?
I'm excited. Obviously, that plays a part in it, but I think we've played each other enough now that doesn't really faze me too much. And I think it's more about the club and this group's first game together and our first game in Geelong. Like, that's what we're really looking forward to. And, we've scouted Alicia. Luckily, I know her well, so we'll do that, and then we'll just do our thing.
Now, from my side of things, obviously, you've moved clubs, she's moved clubs. Is there any kind of sharing of stories about how those moves are going amongst yourselves and, sharing those experiences with each other?
Yeah, I think, we try not to talk too much basketball because we're very competitive people who will fight about it. So it's just better for our relationship if we don't really talk about it too much. But, little things here and there that we talk about, and I try and get some sort of inside gossip out of her sometimes. So, yeah.
Very good. Anything else from you, Meg? Was there some conflicting feelings about Boomers finishing up, but also the excitement of coming to Geelong?
Yeah, I think, I had a great time with the Boomers, and, when we found out about all that, it was a little bit like, oh, what's happening? But I couldn't have landed in a better spot. And obviously I know Chris and we have a great relationship, and I played with him at Boomers, so it feels kind of like we flowed into this year. And then just with this club, like, it's been amazing from the get-go. I was really impressed, and the things that they're doing and the vision that they have has been really great. So, it made it a pretty easy decision in the end.
And another important piece from the Boomers background is Moncondy coming to the side as well. There was a very big embrace between the two of you when you went to her AFLW game a couple of weeks ago. Are you excited to have her on board as well?
Yeah, super excited. I love Mon. I love playing with Mon. I think we play very similar, that aggressive game style, and I love how she just gets involved, and really excited for her to come down here and be a part of this.
Another one from Meg. Do you feel like the connections you have with Chris and other boomers coming over will help you guys succeed more this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps that we have a good relationship, and Chris and I, we can talk about anything, and that relationship's there, so that it's a smooth transition. And I feel like it's helped us on the court and off the court. And same with Mon. She's going to come in and know what's expected of her. So yeah, I think it'll help.
Fantastic. Any more from you there, Meg? One more coming through. Last one from Meg. Has any of your new teammates surprised or excited you in the preseason so far?
Yeah, I think a few of them have, to be honest. I came in not knowing a whole lot of the group, which is probably unusual in the WNBL, but I could probably give you great things about every single player on this team. Like, it's been a really great group to be a part of, and everyone's brought different things. And, you've got people like Danny who have come in from Israel. She's going to bring a lot, and I think excite some people. Kai's been really impressive as well. I think we're expecting good things from Hayley, and she's been really good. But then, your Jammers, your Jazz, Alyssa, I could name everyone who's surprised me and kind of brought something to this group that I think is going to really work well together on the floor.
Well, if that's it from Meg and Paul, unless there's anything that we want to come back to you for, we might move on to our last person. Keely, thanks for popping on.
Thanks.
And we'll get Chris in the hot seat and get the questions coming through for Chris. But what we might do in this case, considering we've only got Paul and Meg on the call today, Meg, if you want to start typing your question in the chat with the technical issues that you have going on there, and Paul, we'll start with you straight away as we switch over to Chris's slide here. So, Chris, great to have you on. Just pick up the microphone there, and we'll be all set to go. Paul, to you.
No worries. Chris, good to see you again. I'm just wondering, what are the challenges you face as a coach coming into a new team in the league, and with all the building that's going on while you're structuring your team?
The challenge? Well, I actually love it. I think, this is. I thrive in this environment. I had the same situation in Townsville back in 2011-12. I'm really excited about. We're a young team. We lack experience in the younger players. We've got 3 senior players, if 27, 28, and 34 is seniors. But the rest of the girls are in their low 20s. And the work ethic and the challenge them to work hard hasn't been a problem. But what I do know is that we want to build. The first 12 months is going to be challenging. I've got no doubt about that. But what we're doing is building long-term success for female participation in the Geelong area, and that's what we're looking to do.
So you mentioned that it's a really young team. I'm wondering, how do you find directing young players towards your style of game?
Well, I haven't had a problem, to be quite honest, Paul. It's taking a little bit longer to get some of the processes in place and get some of the systems in place than you would with a senior team. So we're working on something at the moment which is taking a little bit of time, but I really feel confident that with time that'll get better. So what we have in place at the moment, offensively and defensively, I'm just not trying to go too quick, and that's where I come back to that youth versus experience, and making sure we get that balance right. So if I move too quickly forward, then the detail will drop out. So, but I've been really impressed with the way that they've approached everything we've done on the floor.
Okay, and finally, how did you, because fundamentally you were starting with a clean slate, how do you as a coach approach building a roster from pretty much a blank sheet of paper, which most coaches in the WNBL don't really get an opportunity to do?
That's been challenging in itself, because you're dealing with athletes, budgets, managers. But we had a really long list that we work from, and when we were unsuccessful, we moved to the next best option for us. But my recruitment policy is you don't always get it right, but my recruitment policy is we recruit people first and players second. And I live and die by that. And I feel like for now, we haven't started playing, obviously, and then the challenges become bigger. But this group, I don't see, I feel like we've got that right now. We've got some a lot of players have been put on 2-year deals. So I earmarked the players that we felt would develop this year and then hopefully go even further next year.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
No problem, Paul. Thank you.
Getting to a couple of questions from Meg in the chat there. Obviously, we've touched on this already, but to expand on it a little bit more, what are the kind of attributes, both, I guess, on and off the court that you were seeking in your players when going through that recruiting system?
Well, I think I do my homework on all athletes, and I think if they're good people and they're prepared to engage with the community, that was a big one for me. I think that's super important because Townsville, and I'm comparing to Townsville because that was a brand new franchise as well. The license was actually handed back to the league, and then there was a consortium group that took the license on. So by recruiting good people that are prepared to acknowledge that the community is such an important part, was something I talked about through the recruitment process. And if you have athletes who are not prepared to do that, they're self-invested. And I think we have a group of young athletes that really want to engage and already have engaged with the community.
Another one from Meg. How would you describe the DNA and style of this team that you're trying to develop throughout the season?
I'll hopefully play hard, and I actually don't think that'll be a problem, but hopefully be fun to watch. And I want the players to embrace that, but also enjoy it. And I think they have to enjoy what they do. And if they can show that and show how they feel about each other and express that in the way we play, I think that's super important, because it doesn't matter what you do in life. I think sport or work, you still have to enjoy what you do. And for these young girls right now, this is their job. And right now, I think they're doing a super job with it.
And one thing I guess that we have seen internally as well is that the girls are just so fit. And when you're seeing them out there's no sluggishness coming in from the off season. They're not trying to build themselves back up. They're fit and ready to go.
Yeah, I think the first 3 or 4 weeks was challenging in camp. We did have some injuries, which has put a couple of people behind. I'm sure all clubs have had that, especially when you come into a 6-week pre-season, which is in the WNBL is actually unusual. Normally it's around 3. But right now I've got, I'm not questioning any of them. They've all worked hard outside of here and gone to the gym, and they've all presented themselves in great shape. Absolutely.
Another one from Meg in the chat. How have the imports and international players been settling into Geelong so far, do you feel? We've got obviously our 2 imports. We've got Danny Raber as well.
Yeah, look, they've all been fantastic. I think, Lynetta Kaiser, she's obviously a vet and she's played all over the world, and she's just been a breath of fresh air, especially around the young ones. Hayley Jones only arrived last week, but she's made our team better already. And Danny Raber, she's just she's a character. You've got to listen to her accent, and she's just fun to be around. But her IQ is extremely high. But all the imports have been fantastic.
Meg would also like to know, are you speaking and managing Monconti's return post-AFL finals, and will she be ready to come straight in after all that's said and done?
Yeah, look, so experienced that last year, and the challenge for Mon is physically she will need a couple of weeks off, and then she'll slot into practice, but it'll take her, I think it took us about 3 weeks last year. It was actually quite amusing. She'd come on the court in games, and because of the physicality of the AFLW, she had 3 fouls very, very quickly. But she loves her footy. I've given her space, and I think we need to respect that space. I've spoken to her a couple of times. I rang her last night, but we'll give her a bit of time. But once she slots in, she's going to put pressure on me as the coach. She's, just because of who she is and what she brings to the group. She'll be pretty demanding for court time, and I want that. I want pressure on rotations, and she will. If Richmond keep winning, obviously it's going to delay that. But yeah, we're looking forward to have him on in our group and getting to full strength.
And you spoke on just briefly some injuries that were plaguing people coming in. Meg would like to know, injury-wise, how's everyone looking for round one on Wednesday?
Everyone's fine except for one injury, which is a bit long-term, but then, we're in a situation where one of our DPs will get the opportunity to play at the elite level for the first time in an inaugural team, and I think that's pretty special.
And speaking on DPs, that was the next question. Speaking on the development players, Dakota and Tennille, what do they add to the squad? And do you expect them to play, big minutes throughout the season?
That's challenging for DPs. I think I've been impressed. So Dakota only arrived last week, and then Tennille's been with us since day one. And both girls are just impressive young women who come from the Vic country system. And I think in time, I believe both those players will play WNBL. I really do.
And one last one here from Meg. Obviously, we've mentioned the player who is the long-term injury. She wouldn't be a journalist if she wasn't doing her job to dig a little bit more. Are you
keep digging?
Wanting to reveal who that is or not?
No, look at she's right now. I think we'll keep that in-house, but because she's pretty emotional about it, and but she's still important to our program, and everybody should feel valued is what I like to look at, and unfortunate, but injuries are part of sport, and she'll be back soon.
No worries. Well, unless anyone's got any more, feel free to chuck up the hand again. No, looks like we're all done. So thanks, Chris, for jumping on, and that right there is our second virtual press conference, I guess, all wrapped up. So once again, thanks for jumping on. If you want the audio recap of this, we'll be posting it up on our YouTube channel a little bit later on. But I'm guessing, obviously, you've been doing some recording on your ends and things like that. So that's all good. But we'll catch you next time. Thanks for jumping on.